The officer looked me in the eyes, and suddenly it wasn't just a routine check anymore. The siren wail sliced through the humid dawn like a knife through butter, red and blue lights pulsing against the endless stretch of cracked asphalt that was Highway 70. I gripped the wheel tighter, my knuckles whitening, heart slamming against my ribs as if it wanted out. Sweat beaded on my forehead despite the AC blasting cold air that smelled faintly of stale coffee from the thermos wedged between the seats. It was just a routine pullover, I told myself. Speeding ticket. 5 over the limit in this godforsaken stretch of Nebraska flatlands where the corn whispered secrets to the wind. But deep down, in that gut twist I couldn't shake, I knew it was more. It always was, wasn't it? For guys like me, every sideways glance from a man in uniform carried the weight of unspoken accusations. The shadow of who I was in a town that still whispered faggot like a prayer gone wrong. I eased the old Ford onto the shoulder, gravel crunching under the tires like brittle bones. The cruiser loomed in my rearview, a black and white beast with lights still flashing lazy now, mocking me. Footsteps crunched closer, boots on dirt, deliberate, unhurried. I swallowed hard, tasting the metallic tang of fear mixed with that stupid, reckless spark of curiosity. Who was he? The kind of cop who wrote you up with a smirk? Or the one who lingered a beat too long? The tap on the window came sharp, like a gunshot in the quiet. I rolled it down, cool morning air rushing in with the scent of dew-soaked earth and exhaust. And there he was, Officer Ryan Hale, his badge glinting like a promise in the first rays of sun. Mid-30s, maybe, with a jaw carved from the same granite as the Rockies he'd probably left behind. Sandy hair cropped short under his hat, eyes the color of storm clouds over the Platte River, gray-blue, piercing. His uniform hugged shoulders built from hauling hay bales or wrestling steers, whichever red state myth fit. He leaned down, one hand on the roof, the other resting easy on his belt, close enough that I caught the faint whiff of his aftershave. Cedar and something sharper like gun oil. "License and registration," he said, voice low and gravel rough, the kind that echoed in empty diners at midnight. No smile, no bullshit, just those eyes locking onto mine. I fumbled in the glove box, papers rustling like dry leaves. My hands shook, not from the ticket, but from the way his gaze held, unblinking, like he was seeing straight through the bullshit I'd built my life around. 28 years old, chasing stories for the Omaha Herald that no one read, pretending every byline made up for the nights I spent alone in my cramped apartment. Scrolling Grindr profiles that ghosted me by dawn. Alex Rivera. Half Mexican blood from a dad who'd split when I was 5. Mom who'd scrubbed floors to keep us in that sagging duplex on the edge of Lincoln. Gay as the day is long. But in Nebraska, that meant bars on the sly, prayers in the dark, and a smile that never quite reached your eyes. I handed over the docs, our fingers brushing for a split second. Electricity. Not the static kind from wool socks on carpet, but the real deal, hot, insistent, coiling low in my gut. His skin was warm, calloused, the touch lingering half a heartbeat too long before he pulled back. He straightened, flipping open my license, scanning it with that cop efficiency. But his eyes flicked up again, meeting mine over the laminate edge. And fuck, there it was. That look. Not suspicion, not routine boredom. Hunger. Raw, unguarded. Like he'd been starving for something he couldn't name until right then. "You always drive like you're late for your own funeral, Mr. Rivera?" His tone dipped, almost teasing, but edged with something heavier. A sigh escaped him, soft, like the weight of his badge pressed too hard on his chest. I forced a laugh, dry as the dust kicking up around us. Only when the coffee's kicking in and the deadlines breathing down my neck, chasing a lead on that mill closure in Kearney. You know how it is. Stories don't write themselves. He nodded slow, like he was chewing on the words. The sun crested higher, painting his face in gold, shadows pooling under his cheekbones. A truck rumbled past, air horn blaring, shaking the car. We both flinched, then locked eyes again. Silence stretched, thick as the humidity rising off the fields. I could hear my pulse in my ears, thumping erratic, and imagined he could too. The betraying rhythm of a man who'd just been caught. "Step out of the vehicle," he said finally, voice steady but quieter now. Not an order, an invitation. My stomach dropped. Routine my ass. This was the maw of the conflict yawning wide. Pull over a queer kid in the heartland, and suddenly it's not about MPH anymore. It's about the lies we tell ourselves, the ones that keep us safe until they don't. I killed the engine, the click echoing loud in the cab. Door creaked open, and I swung my legs out, boots hitting gravel with a crunch that mirrored the crack in my resolve. Standing there, 6 feet from him, the air between us hummed like power lines after a storm. He holstered my papers, stepping closer. Too close for protocol. His breath ghosted my cheek, warm against the chill. "You got anything I should know about in there?" Eyes on mine, drilling deep. "Nope," I whispered, voice cracking like teenage confession. "Just me, and a half-eaten burrito that's seen better days." A ghost of a smile tugged his lip. "Lucky burrito." Then softer. "You smell like rain and regret, Alex." My name on his tongue. First time like velvet over steel. I swallowed, throat dry. The world narrowed. Cornstalks swaying lazy. A crow cawing distant. The faint sizzle of heat rising from the hood. And him, Ryan, the officer who'd just turned my morning into a goddamn plot twist. He exhaled slow, shoulders easing like he'd been holding his breath for miles. "Walk with me." Not a question. We moved to the cruiser's hood, away from the road's occasional roar. His hand grazed my elbow. Accidental? Bullshit. Fire trailed in its wake. "Tell me about that lead," he said, leaning against the fender, arms crossed. But his eyes said something else. "Tell me about you, the parts you hide." I leaned beside him, mirroring our boots inches apart. Factories shutting down. 200 jobs gone. Folks packing up, leaving ghosts in the grain silos. Words tumbled out, but my mind raced elsewhere. On the scar peeking from his collar, white and jagged, like a knife fight with fate. "What about you? Patrolling these empties. Must get lonely." His jaw tightened, gaze dropping to the horizon where the sun bled orange into blue. A pause. Heavy. Then, "Lonely's the job description. Badge comes with blinders." He turned, eyes searching mine again. Vulnerability cracked through, raw as fresh earth. "But you look like trouble I didn't know I needed." Heart stuttered. The hook sank deeper. This wasn't flirtation. It was collision. 2 men on a dusty roadside, worlds apart yet crashing same. Him. Straight arrow cop from a lineage of badges and Bibles, probably wrestling demons in church pews every Sunday. Me. Ink-stained dreamer, out but not loud, carrying the weight of every slur hurled in high school lockers. One glance and the routine shattered. What came next? Arrest? Absolution? Or the kind of fall that leaves you broken and begging for more? The radio crackled in his cruiser. Dispatch, garbled voices calling him back to base. He ignored it, breath hitching. "Give me your number," he murmured, pulling a notepad from his pocket. Pen scratched quick, but his hand trembled faint. I recited it, voice low. "Don't make me regret this, Officer Hale." "Ryan," he corrected, pocketing the pad. "And Alex, I already do." He walked me back, that electric space between us shrinking with every step. At my door he paused, hand on the frame, inches away. Breath mingled, his minty, mine coffee bitter. The pull was magnetic, inevitable. Our lips hovered, almost brushing, the world holding its breath. Then headlights flared distant. Another car. Reality's rude knock. He stepped back, regret etching lines around his mouth. "Drive safe." But his eyes screamed, "Find me." I slid in, engine roaring to life. As I pulled away, mirror catching his silhouette against the rising sun, I knew it. This wasn't over. It was just beginning, the spark that would burn us both. The miles blurred, radio humming low country twang about lost loves and dusty roads. My phone buzzed once in the cup holder. Unknown number. Coffee? Diner off 80. 8 p.m.? Our fingers flew. Hell yes. Adrenaline surged, sweet as sin. Kearney could wait. This was the story I'd been dying to write. Ours. But as the fields gave way to billboards preaching family values and Jesus saves, doubt crept in like fog off the river. What if he was playing me? The cop who cuffed queers for fun, testing waters before the trap snapped shut? Or worse, what if he was real? Real enough to crack open wounds we'd both buried deep. By noon, parked outside the shuttered mill, notebook in lap, I sketched notes on displaced workers' faces, lined with loss, eyes hollow as empty silos. But my pen wandered, doodling his profile. Strong nose, that scar. Scent of cedar lingered on my jacket, ghosting my skin. Phone buzzed again. Thinking about your eyes. Can't stop. Butterflies rioted. I typed back, ditto. What's a guy gotta do for backup in this town? His reply, show up. I'll handle the rest. Sun dipped low as I headed west. Diner neon flickering promise. The hook had me line and sinker. Little did I know, the reel would drag us through hell before the catch. The Rusty Spur diner squatted off I-80 like a relic from Eisenhower's America. Faded red vinyl booths cracked like old lips. Jukebox crooning Merle Haggard about mamas and trains nobody rode anymore. Grease hung heavy in the air, mingling with the sharp tang of frying onions and percolating coffee that could strip paint. I pushed through the screen door at 7:58, bell jingling cheerful against the knot in my gut. Truckers hunched over pie at the counter, flannel shirts straining, their laughter booming like thunder over the flatlands. A waitress, mid-40s, peroxide curls pinned back, name tag reading Darlene, shot me a once-over, pencil tucked behind her ear. Booth or stool, hon? Booth, waiting on someone. My voice came out steadier than I felt, but heat crawled up my neck. Every eye in the place felt like judgment, though really, they were lost in their own miseries. Bills unpaid, wives waiting, dreams deferred to dawn patrols. I slid into a corner booth, vinyl sighing under me, back to the wall for that illusion of control. Menu sticky under my fingers, I scanned it without seeing. Biscuits and gravy, the holy trinity of heartburn and regret. Outside, semis whooshed past, headlights carving the dusk like accusations. 8:02. Late. Or bailing. The what-ifs clawed. What if dispatch called him away? What if that eyelock was just the sun playing tricks, a momentary lapse in his straight-as-an-arrow world? Footsteps. Heavy, familiar. The door swung, and there he was, Ryan, hat tucked under arm, uniform swapped for jeans worn soft at the knees, and a navy Henley that clung to his chest like it knew secrets. He scanned the room, jaw set, then his gaze landed on me. Locked. The diner noise faded to a hum, like someone hit mute on the world. He crossed the floor in 5 strides, boots thudding soft on the linoleum, sliding into the booth opposite with a nod that screamed casual but missed by a mile. Traffic, he muttered, but his eyes said liar. They roamed my face, hungry, like he'd been replaying the roadside scene on loop. Darlene's got the coffee coming. I leaned forward, elbows on the scarred formica, close enough to catch his scent again. Cedar sharpened by the day's sweat. Or are you more of a beer man off duty? His laugh rumbled low, genuine, easing the tension coiled in my shoulders. In this town, beer's safer. Less questions. He paused, fingers drumming the table edge, a tick that betrayed the storm under his calm. You showed. Wouldn't miss a ticket I earned. Teasing, but my pulse betrayed me, thudding visible in my throat. Darlene swooped in then, pot steaming, pouring 2 mugs with the efficiency of a woman who'd seen every heartbreak from Omaha to Cheyenne. "You boys need menus?" Her eyes flicked between us, sharp as a hawk's. Small-town radar pinging something off. Ryan's foot nudged mine under the table. "Accidental?" "No." Heat bloomed. "Just coffee for now, thanks." She winked, vanishing, and the air thickened. We sipped in silence first, the bitter brew scalding my tongue, grounding me. His mug cradled in both hands, steam curling like unspoken words. Outside, neon buzzed, open 24/7, casting red glows across his knuckles. I broke it. "So, Ryan Hale, what's the story? Born and bred Cornhusker? Or did the badge drag you here?" He set the mug down slow, exhaled long and waited. Like exhaling smoke from a cigarette he wished he still smoked. "Omaha born. Dad was a trooper. Died on duty when I was 12. Drunk driver on black ice." His voice cracked faint, eyes distant, fixed on the window where rain started pattering, soft as secrets. "Mom sold the house, moved us to Grand Island. Said we needed fresh start. I joined up at 22, chasing his ghost. Figured it'd fill the hole." Rain picked up, drumming the roof like impatient fingers. I reached across, thumb brushing his wrist, light, testing. He didn't pull away. Skin warm, pulse steady under my touch. "Sounds like a heavy load. Ever think about ditching it? Writing your own story?" His gaze snapped back, intense, boring into mine. "Every damn day, especially today." A beat, breath hitching. "You, Alex, you're like a glitch in the system. One look this morning, and suddenly the lines blur. Badge or no, I can't shake it." Confession hung there, raw as the scar on his neck. Knife from a bar fight, he'd murmur later, defending a buddy who didn't make it. My chest tightened, emotions cresting like waves on the Platte. "Glitch, huh? That's me. Always have been." Dad bailed when he figured out his son liked boys more than baseball. Mom worked doubles, pretending it was fine. I write to make sense of the mess. Stories about folks like those mill workers, invisible until they're not. He nodded, understanding flickering deep. "I get it. Closeted my whole life. Dates with the right girls. Church on Sundays, but inside." He trailed off, hand flipping mine over, tracing my palm with a callus that sent shivers racing. "It's like breathing underwater. Until you." The rain sheeted now, blurring the world outside to gray streaks. Darlene refilled mugs distant, her chatter with the cook a low murmur. Our booth became island, intimate, electric. His knee pressed mine, firm, deliberate. "What now?" I whispered, voice husky, fear and want twisting tight. He leaned in, forehead nearly touching mine, breath warm on my lips. "Now? We steal this night. No badges. No bylines. Just us." Lips met then. Tentative at first, his tasting of coffee and salt, then fierce like he'd been dammed up for years. Hands in hair, mine tugging his soft strands, his cupping my jaw rough but tender. The kiss deepened, world narrowing to the slick heat of mouths. The scrape of his stubble. The sigh he breathed into me, long relieved, like surfacing for air. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, rain roaring applause. His thumb stroked my cheek, eyes shining wet, not tears, but close. "Fuck, Alex. That's what I've been missing." Heart swelled, emotions crashing high. Joy sharp as diner pie, terror lurking like shadows under the table. This was it, the maw opening wider. A cop and a reporter, both outsiders in their skins, stealing fire in a place that'd burn us for it. Darlene cleared her throat discreet, plates clattering elsewhere. We pulled back, flushed, laughing soft, nervous, alive. "Pie?" he asked, voice wrecked. "All night," I shot back. Hours blurred. Apple pie crumbling sweet under forks, stories spilling like the rain. His first crush on a high school coach, buried deep. My botched coming out at 20, fistfight in a frat house that left me bloody but free, laughter mixed with sighs, his hand on my thigh under the table, thumbs circling slow, igniting sparks. By 10, diner emptying, neon flickering weaker, we paid up. His treat, fingers lingering on the bill. Outside, rain eased to mist, air cool and clean, puddles reflecting taillights like broken mirrors. He pulled me to his cruiser, back against the door, kissing again. Deeper, hands roaming, mine under his shirt feeling the hard planes of abs earned from gym penance. His groan vibrated low. Your place or mine? Mine, I breathed. Closer and safer. Drive was torture. His truck tailing my Ford, wipers swishing rhythm, radio low with Springsteen howling about highways and heartaches. Lincoln lights winked welcoming. My apartment block squat and unassuming, stairs creaking under our rush. Key fumbled, door banged shut, and we were on each other. Clothes shedding like old skins, his uniform ghosts forgotten. Bedroom dim, lamp casting gold on his body. Broad, scarred, beautiful. We moved slow at first, exploring. Lips on collarbones, fingers tracing ribs, breaths mingling ragged. His touch reverent, like I was fragile, breakable. Beautiful, he murmured against my neck, voice thick. I arched, gasping. The world reduced to skin on skin. The creak of mattress springs. The rain's soft patter outside. Climax built like thunder, crashing mutual. Cries muffled in shoulders, bodies slick, trembling. After, tangled sheets, his head on my chest, heartbeat sinking slow. This scares me, he whispered, fingers lacing mine. But God, it's good. Me too. I kissed his hair, cedar scent grounding. Dawn would bring reality, his shift, my deadline. But for now, in the stolen pocket, we were whole. Phone buzzed on the nightstand, dispatch probably. He silenced it, burrowing closer. Sleep claimed us, dreams laced with eyes locking eternal. Morning light filtered gray through blinds, coffee brewing distant in my tiny kitchenette. He stirred, smiling sleepy. First unguarded grin. Pancakes. Burnt toast's my specialty. Laughter easy, domestic. But as he dressed, badge glinting cold, conflict loomed again. Whispers in his precinct, prying eyes at my newsroom. Could we hide? Or would the world demand its due? We parted with a kiss at the door, lingering. Tonight? He asked, hope raw. Every night. Promise hung, fragile as mist. Driving to the office, radio droning mill closure updates. I gripped the wheel, heart full yet fracturing. The story unfolded not on paper, but in us. Dramatic, yes. Doomed? Only if we let it. Weeks bled into a secret rhythm, stolen like contraband across state lines. Mornings, I'd wake to his side of the bed cool, pillow indented with the ghost of his head, cedar aftershave clinging faint to the sheets. Coffee solo, black and bitter, scrolling headlines on my laptop. Mill workers protesting now, picket signs waving like white flags in the wind off the Missouri. My byline on page 3, words sharp but hollow, because the real narrative pulsed elsewhere. In the buzz of my phone at odd hours, his texts lighting up like flares. Miss your laugh. Lunch? We met in shadows. Back booths at out-of-town dives, where accents thickened withdrawals from Iowa borders, and no one knew his badge or my press pass. Once, in a Omaha park after dusk, under oaks dripping Spanish moss that Nebraska wished it had, we walked hand in hidden hand, gravel paths crunching soft under sneakers. Fireflies blinked lazy, air thick with cut grass and river damp. He pulled me behind a willow, lips crashing urgent, hands fisting my shirt. Can't get enough, he growled against my throat, teeth grazing, sending sparks skittering down my spine. But cracks spiderwebbed early. His precinct buzzed rumors, a soft touch on traffic stops, Whispers from old-timers with mustaches like broom straw. Hale's got a ghost. One grunted over beers. Ryan dodged now, claiming overtime. Me? Newsroom sharks circled. Rivera's distracted. That mill piece reads like a love letter to losers. Editor sigh heavy. Door slamming echo in the bullpen that smelled of ink and instant ramen. First real fracture hit mid-July. Heat wave baking the plains to cracker dry. Cicadas screaming endless from the elms. We'd planned a weekend. His cabin up near Valentine. National Forest fringe where cell service ghosted and stars blanketed thick as regret. I packed light. Jeans soft from too many washes. Notebook for inspiration. Condoms tucked discreet in the side pocket like talismans. Drive north, windows down. Wind whipping my hair salty. Radio blasting Dylan rasping about tangled destinies. Cabin squatted rustic. Logs weathered silver. Porch sagging under Adirondack chairs that creaked welcome. Ryan waited on the steps. Beer in hand. Sweat sheening his tank top. Clinging to pecs I'd mapped with lips and tongue. Finally, he murmured, pulling me flush. Kiss tasting of hops and home. Inside, air cool with pine paneling. Fireplace cold but promising. We christened the kitchen table first. Flour dusting from forgotten biscuits. His hands pinning my wrists. Breaths ragged sinking with the clock's tick. Mine, he whispered fierce. Possession laced with fear. Nights blurred ecstatic. Bonfires crackling orange. Marshmallows toasting gooey on sticks whittled sharp. His laughter booming as sparks danced to the Milky Way. We'd make love on the dock. Niobrara River lapping black below. Water cool lapping ankles as bodies heated urgent. His sighs, deep, guttural, mingled with loon calls distant, echoing our unraveling. Mornings, tangled naked on quilts threadbare, coffee perking on the stove, his fingers tracing my tattoos. A rainbow faded on my rib, inked in a Denver dive after college, symbol of survival. But Sunday dawned wrong. His phone, silenced on the mantel, lit up insistent. 5 missed from Mom. He groaned, rubbing temples, stubble rasping palm. Ignore it. I brewed more coffee, mugs clinking ceramic. Family? He nodded curt, sipping scalding. Yeah, big on Sundays, pot roast, prayers. Haven't told him about this. Gesture vague, encompassing us, the cabin, the love blooming wild as the wildflowers choking the path. My gut twisted, old wounds flaring. Dad's exit, Mom's averted eyes at pride floats on TV. They will. Someday. His laugh bitter, like ash. Someday's a luxury. Dad's ghost still haunts. Be a man, Ryan. Badge was his way out. Mine too. Till you. Eyes met, stormy, pleading. Don't push. I didn't. Packed instead. Drive back south heavy with unsaid. Silence stretched, radio off, only tires humming on hot tar. At my drop-off, kiss brief. His truck peeling away fast, taillights fading red in the haze. Monday crashed brutal. Newsroom frenzy. Mill strike turned violent, scabs brawling picketers, tear gas canisters hissing white in the dust. I chased it. Notebook sodden, shouts ringing ears, the acrid bite of chemicals burning throat. Photos later. Bloodied noses, signs splintered. A worker's sigh ragged as medics bandaged. My piece hit front page. Words fierce. Hearts breaking on the line. One job at a time. Pride swelled brief. Editors grunt approval, then deflated. Phone silent all day. Night. Apartment empty. Takeout congealing cold. I texted. Piece dropped. Miss you. Dots danced. Stopped. Nothing. Panic clawed. Called voicemail, his voice warm, recording mocking the void. Tried again at midnight. Sheets twisted damp from restless toss. Still nada. Dawn broke sullen, coffee undrunk. Drove to the precinct on impulse, heart hammering like a fugitive's. Parking lot baked empty, cruisers lined like soldiers. Inside, buzzed my way past the desk sergeant. Press. Hail interview. Lie smooth, but sweat beaded. Hallway fluorescent harsh, echoing my steps. His office door ajar, voices low. Hail, you hearing this? Internal sniffing. That pullover last month, Rivera's name circling. His reply, strained. Coincidence. Kid's a reporter, that's all. Laughter course. Reporter with your lipstick on his collar? Clean it up, boy. I froze, blood roaring. Backed away silent. Fleeing to the Ford. Engine turning over with a cough like betrayal. Home. Pacing linoleum worn thin. Anger boiled. Was it all a game? The eyes, the size, the body against mine under stars. Lies? Phone rang then him. Answered sharp. What the fuck, Ryan? Silence crackled. Then, Alex. Shit. Heard about the strike. You okay? Not the point. Voice broke. Tears hot. Your buddies think I'm your side hustle. Am I? Exhale long, pained. No. God, no. It's them, the town's closing in. Mom called yesterday, worried. Who's the friend keeping you from church? Panicked. Froze. Relief ward fury. We're not kids hiding in closets. This is us. I know. Pause, sniffle faint. Crying? Meet me. Tonight. The river. Please. I went. Platte banks muddy. Willows weeping low. Water gurgling dark secrets. He waited on the bench, silhouette broad against twilight, hands clasped tight. Rose as I approached, pulling me hard into chest, arms iron bands. I'm sorry, murmured into hair, voice muffled. Scared shitless, but losing you? Worse. Kissed then, desperate, bruising, rain starting light on our faces. Stripped under the downpour, clothes sodden slapping mud, bodies joining frantic on the bank, grass wet cushioning. His cries mingled with thunder rolling distant, release shattering like lightning. After, huddled naked, his jacket draped over, whispers, I love you. First time spoken. Heart cracked open, emotions flooding. Terror, triumph, the high wire we walked. Love you too. Storm passed, stars peeking shy. Dressed slow, fingers lingering. Fight with me? He asked, eyes fierce. Always. Back to life. Strikes raging, his shifts longer, our nights fiercer. But shadows lengthened. A colleague's sly wink. Heard you're cozy with 5-0. Mom's call, voice thin. Me Joe, you sound happy. Who's the lucky girl? Lie stuck throat. August scorched, tension coiling tight as barbed wire. Then the call. His captain, voice gravel. Hail. Desk duty. Rumors or not, clean house. Demotion's shadow, badge tarnished. He came over shattered, beer bottle shattering sink, sobs racking broad frame. I held him, rocking gentle, murmurs soothing like river lull. We'll weather it. But doubt whispered. Could we? In this land of amber waves and amber alish, where love like ours was outlaw still. Fall crept in sly, leaves turning crimson like accusations on the wind. Harvest moons hanging fat and judgmental over the fields. The mill strike dragged bloody. Fists flying in parking lots pocked with craters from flung rocks. Air thick with diesel fumes and desperation's sour tang. My stories piled up, each one a gut punch. Widow left with bills taller than silos. Quotes dripping tears like morning dew. Newsroom accolades rang hollow. Pulitzer whispers from New York desks far removed from the dirt under my nails. Ryan's world tightened vice-like. Desk duty chained him to fluorescent hell. Paperwork mountains burying the man who'd once roamed freeways like a wolf. Nights, he'd arrive hollow-eyed, uniform rumpled, collapsing onto my couch with a beer that sweated condensation like his brow. Captain's watching, he'd mutter. Head in hands, fingers raking stubble grown ragged. One wrong look, and it's over. I'd need shoulders knotted hard as oak. Thumbs digging deep, eliciting groans that twisted want with worry. You're more than the badge. Kisses trailed spine, unbuttoning slow, but urgency faded to tender. Hands exploring not conquering, breaths sinking soft in the lamplight's glow. Yet fractures deepened. His mom's calls escalated, Bible verses texted at dawn. Proverbs 14 verse 12. Warnings of crooked paths. Ryan's replies curt, screen glowing accusatory in the dark. Once, I caught him staring at a photo on his phone. Family portrait, stiff in Sunday best, his smile boyish beside a brother in fatigues. He knows. Ryan confessed over midnight ramen, steam curling between us. Jake served 2 tours. Came home different, quieter. Wrote me once from Kandahar. Love who you love. Rest is noise. Died in a crash last year. Drunk behind the wheel. Tears tracked his cheeks, salt mingling with broth. I wiped them, heart aching twin. He'd want you happy. Nod shaky. Then why's it feel like betrayal? Because America, I thought, land of the free unless your freedom tasted queer. We pushed on, carving pockets. A weekend in Des Moines, anonymous in crowds, holding hands open under Harvest Fest lights strung twinkling. Ferris wheel creaking ascent to stolen kisses overlooking corn mazes. Cotton candy stuck sweet on fingers. His laugh booming genuine as we dodged hay bales. Kids shrieking nearby oblivious. But return soured quick. My editor cornered me Monday. Breath cough-rotten. Rivera, this cop source, hail? Brass is pissed. Feds sniffing union ties in the strike. You sleeping with the enemy? Lied through teeth. Just contacts. But eyes betrayed. And the memo came. Ethics review. Step back from labor beat. Fury boiled. Screamed into pillow that night. Ryan arriving to find me pacing. Fists clenched. They're boxing us out. From all sides. He pulled me down. Legs tangling on the rug. Kisses fierce distraction. Then we fight dirtier. Plan hatched reckless. Leak internal memos on strike mishandling. His anonymous tip to my Dropbox. Risky. Felony territory. But justice burned brighter than fear. Emails flew coded. Nights hunched over my laptop. His chin on shoulder. Breath warm neck. This could end me, he murmured. But fingers flew steady, loyalty steel. Leak dropped Tuesday. Front page blaze. Police intel. Strike sabotage suspected. Chaos erupted. Protests swelling to city blocks. Chants echoing off Capitol domes. Tear gas clouds blooming acrid. Ryan vanished into the fray. Riot gear clanking, visor down, but I spotted him. Holding line gentle, voice calm over bullhorn. De-escalating a knot of furious welders. Pride swelled fierce. Texted quick. Saw you. Hero. Reply, for you. Always. But backlash bit hard. His captain hauled him in, door slamming audible down hall. Treason. Hail? Or just pussy whipped? Words relayed later, over ice packs for his split lip. Fist from a loyal deputy. I cleaned blood with trembling hands, antiseptic stinging sharp. Quit. Come right with me. Laughter hollow. And live on your ramen budget? Nah, this is my fight too. Mom called then, voice quavering over line crackling faint. Mijo Town's talking. That officer, be careful. Hearts break easy here. Knew then, whispers spread, vines choking. Next day, grocery run turned gauntlet. Old lady at checkout. Eyes narrow. Heard you're friendly with the law. Shame on good boys. Cart rattled away. Eggs cracking soft in the bag like resolve. Ryan sensed the shift. Arriving with pizza grease spotted. Eyes searching. What's eating? Everything. Collapsed into him, sobs racking. They're winning. The hate. Held tight, rocking. Not if we don't let em. Made love slow that night. Candles guttering wax. Shadows dancing walls. His body shield against the storm. Whispers vows. Together. October chilled crisp. leaves crunching under boots like brittle promises. Strike peaked bloody. Clash at dawn. Mill gates groaning under pressure. Sirens wailing prelude. I embedded, notebook shield, but chaos swallowed. Shove from a scab, boot to ribs cracking air from lungs. World spun, gravel biting palms, then hands strong hauling up. Ryan, helmet off, face ashen. Alex! Voice thunder shoving through fray, arm banding waist. You hurt. Gasping, ribs fire. Fine. Go duty. Fuck duty. Dragged me to cruiser edge. Medic swarming, his touch linger on cheek. Eyes locked. That first dawn gaze, amplified now with love's ferocity. Get out. Safe. Protest raged on, but we slipped away, his shift abandoned, badge burning pocket. Drove south reckless, radio blaring alerts, his hand on my thigh anchor. Pulled over at a overlook, plat glittering below like shattered glass under moon. There, tailgate perch, beers cracked cold. He broke. Can't do this half. Quit or lose you. Heart soared. Crashed. Quit? For what? For us. Kiss sealed it, salt-laced, wind-whipping hair. Teach me to write. We'll chase stories together, real ones. Emotions crested. Fears undertow. Hopes swell. Yes. But dawn brought reckoning. Phone exploded. Missed calls. Voicemails venom. Captain's roar. You're done? Hail. Resign or charges. Mom's plea. Come home, Ryan. Pray this away. He stared screen long, exhale shuddering. It's over. Not us, I prayed. But the world. Clawed back hard. November stripped bare. Trees skeletal clawing at skies bruised gray. First snow dusting like ash from heaven's chimney. Ryan's resignation hit headlines small. Veteran trooper bows out amid strike fallout. My byline absent, ethics scar still fresh. Precinct farewell cold. Handshakes limp as wet noodles. Eyes averted. One old-timer muttering. Disappointing son. He walked out head high. Badge surrendered with a clink that echoed hollow in the emptying lot. My apartment swelled with his presence. Boxes of his life stacking corners. Fishing rods tangled, photo albums yellowed. A Bible dog-eared with margins scribbled doubts. Nights, we'd cook haphazard. Chili bubbling spicy on the stove. His arm round waist, chin on shoulder, humming off key to NPR jazz drifting soft. This normal? He'd ask, stirring, steam beating brow. Our normal. Kisses over onions chopped sharp. Laughter bubbling when blades slipped. Nicking fingers we bandaged mutual. But exile bit deep. Job hunt dragged. Applications ghosted. Interviews laced subtext. Reliable family man? His calls to buddies sparse. Voices clipped. Lay low, towns got long memory. Mom's ultimatum arrived Thanksgiving Eve, voicemail trembling. Dinner or disownment. Bring a girl or don't come. He deleted it, face crumpling, collapsing to knees on the kitchen tile cold. I knelt, holding fierce. We'll make our own. Pie baked crooked. Turkey carved lopsided on paper plates. Wine toasting to us. Fuck the pilgrims. Laughter teary, but joy flickered real. Candle against the wind. Winter gripped iron. I landed freelance gigs. Podcast on rural queer lives. Voices crackling lines from cabins isolated. Stories mirroring ours. Loves hidden in haylofts. Comings out met with shotguns racked. Ryan shadowed. Learning laptop keys clacking tentative. His first piece raw. Badge to blank page. A cop's closet. We submitted tandem, rejection slips piling like snowdrifts. But one acceptance. Small lit mag. Sparked fire. Reading aloud by fire escape. City lights winking below. His voice steady. The uniform lied. But you set me free. Pride choked me, tears hot. Made love urgent then. Against brick chilled. Breaths fogging glass. His body heat salvation. Yet storms brewed. Christmas neared. Lights strung festive mocking our fray. Jake's old squad reached out. Widow's invite to memorial. He'd want you there. Ryan agonized, pacing rug threadbare. Face him? As me? As us. I went too. Drive east through blizzards howling white. Wipers slapping frantic. VFW hall dim. Air thick with pine wreath and regret. Folding chairs scraping linoleum. Faces weathered. Vets in leather vests patched. Eyes hollow as Jake's ghost. Speeches droned. Then Ryan's turn. Stood tall, voice cracking initial but stealing. Brother taught me love's the only duty worth dying for. Hand found mine under table, squeeze public. Gasps faint, but no bolts. Widow hugged after, whisper fierce. He knew, said you'd find your way. Drive home cathartic, snow swirling ballet, radio carols ironic sweet. We did it, he breathed, fingers interlacing over gear shift. New Year dawned hopeful. Fireworks popping distant over the river. Champagne fizzing cheap in flutes. Resolutions whispered. Out. Loud. We posted first photo. Us. Arms slung casual at a Lincoln cafe. Caption simple. Building our story. Likes trickled cautious. Then flooded. Allies cheering. Trolls spewing venom deleted swift. But backlash crested vicious. Valentine's week. Brick through my window. Glass shattering midnight. Shards glittering floor like ice malice. Note taped. Fags go home. Heart hammered. Ryan barricading door. Shotgun from his trunk racked ominous. Cops came. Irony bitter. Statements taken perfunctory. Hate crime backlog. He paced after. Rage coiling. This place. It'll kill us slow. Then we run. Words escaped unbidden. Fear's logic. Eyes lit fierce. Not run. Fight. Spring thawed tentative. Buds swelling sticky on branches. But threats lingered. Tires slashed on his truck. Anonymous calls hissing slurs. My podcast gained traction. Guests bolder. A trans farmer from Scotts Bluff, voice gravel warm, came out at 50. Lost the land. Gained my soul. Listeners surged. Sponsors nibbling. But death threats laced emails. Watch your back, fairy. Climax brewed sweltering June. Pride March Lincoln. Rainbow flags snapping wind like sails. We marched front. Hands clasped defiant. Chants rising. Love wins. Crowds cheered thick. But counter-protesters jeered. Signs thrusting God hates fags venom. Then surge. A bottle sailed. Shattering at Ryan's feet. Glass spraying. Chaos erupted. Shoves. Shouts. His arm shielding me instinctive. Fist connected then. Bigot's haymaker cracking his jaw. Blood blooming copper on lip. I lunged. Rage blind. Tackling wild. Gravel embedding knees. Sirens wailed convergence. Batons swinging blur. Arrests hauling snarling. Medics patched us curbside. Antiseptic wipes stinging. His hand in mine anchor amid flashbulbs popping. Headlines next day. Pride clash. Ex-cop. Reporter injured in melee. Interviews flooded. CNN clip our faces earnest. Ryan's bruise purple badge of honor. Love's not a crime, he said clear. Eyes on camera mine. Support swelled title. Donations for repairs. Allies marching solidarity. Even his mom, call tentative, saw the news. Proud, son. Doors open. For both. Tears choked him. Phone pressed ear. My arms round waist. Healing, he whispered after hang up. But scars lingered deep. July heat wave baked wounds fresh. Nights restless with what-ifs. One evening, porch swing creaking lazy. Beers sweating sides, he turned. Marry me? Breath caught, heart soaring. Yes, God, yes. Proposal simple. Ring from pawn shop. Silver band etched one glance. Slipped finger trembling. Celebrated slow. Dinner out first time open. Italian joint bustling. Hands across checkered cloth. Whispers from tables faded to white noise. His smile sun breaking clouds. Wedding planned small. Backyard affair. Friends circled intimate. Vows exchanged under arbor wild roses climbed. Mom there, tears glistening, hugging Ryan fierce. Welcome Mijo, his brother absent, but spirit lingered, toast raised. To Jake, and the loves he championed. Honeymoon cabin revisit, Niobrara singing lull, bodies familiar yet new, rings glinting firelight. Forever, he murmured, fingers tracing vows inked skin. Years folded like well-worn maps, creases deepening but paths clearer. Lincoln softened gradual, pride swelling annual to block parties electric. Rainbows painted crosswalks faded but defiant. Our home grew roots. Victorian fixer-upper on the edge, porch swing refinished smooth, garden bursting tomatoes red as first blushes. Ryan's writing bloomed, book deal on badges and butterflies. Memoir raw exposing closets rot, bestseller lists climbing modest but steady. Tours took him cross-country, stages spotlit, voice steady recounting our roadside spark. One look, and the world rewired. I'd tag along when deadlines allowed, hotel nights tangled sheets, room service trays kicked aside. His post-reading high crashing into me urgent. Audience loves us, he'd gasp, lips neck, hands mapping familiar planes. But this you is home. My career crested too. Podcasts syndicating national, Heartland Hearts. Episodes weaving queer threads through amber waves. A lesbian rancher fighting eminent domain. Size heavy over satellite delay. A non-binary artist in Omaha alleys. Spray paint hissing confessions. Awards gathered dust on mantle. Webby gleaming beside his paperback stacks. But real gold was mornings. Coffee brewing duel, his kiss sleepy temple, murmur. Right good today. Conflicts lingered echoes, not thunder. Mom visited often, tamale steaming kitchen, stories swapped over cards. Her youth's hidden flirts with a seamstress, giggles now free. Ryan's family mended slow. Holiday dinners tentative, his aunt's pie crust flaky as apologies. Toasts clinking to new chapters. But trials tempered us steel. 5 years in, infertility hit hammer. Adoption quests labyrinthine, home studies probing like scalpels. Stable? Sane? Rejections stacked. Each a gut kick. Nights curled fetal. His arms fortress. We'll love fierce anyway. He'd vow, fingers combing hair damp. Breakthrough came unexpected. Foster call midnight. Boy 12 named Eli. Foster shuffle weary. Eyes brown wary as a deer's. First meet park swing chains rusty, his push gentle. Like this. Laughter bubbled tentative, walls cracking slow. Papers signed summer solstice. Sun gilding vows. Families chosen. Eli unfolded petal soft. Skateboard scars knees. Questions sharp as his wit. 2 dads? Cool. Beats group home TV. Bedtime stories are ritual. Ryan's voice gravel tales of trooper wolves and reporter foxes outsmarting hunters. Pride that year, he marched between us. Flag cape fluttering. Chants his bellow. Love wins. Yet shadows nipped heels. Town's old guard grumbled. Grocery glares lingering. School pickup whispers when Eli's teacher cooed. Modern family. Ryan's book stirred hornets. Review venomous. Traitors tell all. Death threats scrawled mail. We fortified. Alarms beeping soft. Community watches neighbors nodding vigilant. Climax revisited autumn blaze. 10-year anniversary dawn. Highway 70 pull-off. Exact mile marker where eyes first locked. Thermos coffee steaming shared. Snow flurried light. Fields silvered. His hand mine warm. Remember? He asked, voice thick. Every gasp. Kiss slow, snowflakes melting lips. World hushed witness. Phone buzzed then. Dispatch echo. But now his podcast co-host. Strike sequel brewing. Mill reopening. Union bust. We drove joint. Notebook his now too. Stories co-byline seamless. Chaos mirrored first. Pickets ragged, bosses slick, but we amplified wiser. Live streams raw, voices union strong. Clash averted this time. Negotiation table, our pens nudge, handshakes grudging under floodlights humming. Evening diner revisit, rusty spur upgraded, booths reupholstered plush, Darlene graying but winking same. You two? Still trouble. Pie shared, forks clinking memory. Eli texted photo, home safe, burnt dinner awaits, laughter hours, full circle. Aging crept graceful, his hair silvering temples like frost on fields, my lines crow's feet from squinting screens. Grandkids came eventual, Eli's twins toddling chaotic, chubby fists grabbing rings, Papa-Ree story, tales evolved, morals bent kind, love's the strongest badge. Final hook unwound quiet, hospital bed crisp under his frame frail, cancer's thief slow but sure. I sat vigil, hand laced his veined, monitors beeping lull. No regrets, he whispered, breath shallow, eyes still storm gray piercing. None. You rewrote me. Tears tracked, his thumb weak wipe. Love you, glitch. Smile faint, then sigh long, release like roadside exhale first. Funeral procession wound Highway 70. Cruiser's lights soft blue honor. Brother Jake's widow tossing rose our roadside sign. One glance changes everything. Eulogy mine, voice steady. He looked and saw me. Truly. Grief hollowed initial. Echoes empty apartment. But Eli's hug anchor. Grandkids chaos bomb. Writing resumed solo, but his words lingered pages. Co-author eternal. Years later, book sequel mine. After the look, epilogue ours meaningful love not conquest, but quiet revolution. One glance sparked it. Lives built it. In Heartland's heart, we thrived. Proof. In the sighs shared, the hands held open, the stories that outlast storms. Dawn breaks still on that highway, golden promising. And somewhere, eyes lock anew, reminding, routines just disguise. Real stories, they start with a look.